I'm just going to show you guys how to disinfect a manicure area. So we're just going to spray the surface just like you would any surface, all over, including the arm cushion, the chairs. Client chair is this one, and the cosmetologist chair. Just let it set. If you can let it set 10 to 15 minutes, that's great. If you don't have time for that, just wipe it when you're finished. But that 10 to 15 minute contact time will kill all the germs. And as long as you've done that, then you can go ahead and set all your materials right on the table. Okay, so for setup, just want to take a hands down towel. You can let the longer end hang down towards you. Your client's always going to be on the side of the cushion so that when they're sitting, they can actually sit here. They can actually rest their arm and be more comfortable. So you'll set that like that, and then your implements, your tools. And we've got these drawers in some of these that disinfect the drawer real quick. If you disinfect your drawer, you can keep your implements in here that you don't need. That disinfected. You can put whatever you're not using in there. I'm going to get out. If you're right-handed, you'll put all your implements over on the right-hand side. Set them right on the table. You've just disinfected it. All your materials you can put on your right-hand side, and then your finger bowl. This is just warm water and a couple of pumps of soap. Your finger bowl will be placed with this tab towards you so that when your client's sitting down, they can comfortably put their hand in there, and then when you do the other side, you just move it for them over to the other side. So you can put their other hand in there. So you'll put all your materials out on your table. You don't want to be reaching across, so make sure if you're right-handed, you put them on this side. If you're left-handed, you put them on the other side. And that's how you set up your manicure table. And then when you're finished, anything disposable, as you're working, anything disposable, you'll have a trash right here. Just throw it away. Throw this away, clean everything up, and disinfect again. Just to make sure it's clean for the next person, just in case they don't disinfect. But you should disinfect before and after. And that's how you set up a manicure table. All right, quick 20-second disclaimer. In the making of the manicure video, I forgot to sanitize my hands and my client's hands. So when you see that her nails are polished as we're sanitizing, it's because we had to go back. That is a major no-no. Please don't do that. Always sanitize hands as the first step of your manicure after you disinfect and get everything ready. Thank you. The very first step of a manicure is you want to sanitize your hands. You want to also give some to your client so she can sanitize her own hands. In the salon, you can also have her go to a sink and wash the hands. Anytime you have the opportunity to wash your hands instead of sanitizing, that's better. But sanitizing in front of your client just shows that you're clean and that you are doing things the proper way. All right, I'm going to demonstrate the manicure procedure. We're going to start with removing polish, and she doesn't have any, but I'll just go through the motions anyway. When you use these containers, make sure your cotton's down before you press. This one doesn't even want to press. There we go, it was locked. Because it can spray, and we actually had somebody get some in their eye, and that was not good. So to remove polish, you want to hold it on the nail for a couple seconds, and then just pull straight out. If you do this kind of a thing, and they have dark polish on, it gets it all over the skin. So you just want to press it, loosen it up a little bit, and then pull it out. Another thing you want to do, I'm just going to go ahead and do both hands. You don't want to just go like this and let their fingers dangle. You want to actually hold their fingers. Everything you do, you want to actually hold their fingers and do it that way. So make sure you throw that away when you're finished. And the next step, we're gonna start, I don't care what hand you start with. My finger bowl is on this side, so I'm just gonna go ahead and start with this hand here. And I'm just going to take this side of the emery board. This side is for at the end of a manicure if you have little pieces of, like little layers of the nail still that you can see. You can use that side. It's called the beveling side. I'm going to use the coarser side. And when you file, you want to go corner to center. Corner, and it's kind of hard when they don't have much of a free edge, but you want to go from the corner to the center of the nail. If you seesaw like this, that is not good for natural nails. If you go corner to center, you go with the growth of the nails, and then they won't, their nails won't split as easily. So every nail, corner to center. So I'm going up towards the center on each side. If there's a lot of shaping to be done, you can use the clippers first and clip them down a little bit. And then use your nail file to smooth out the edges. But she doesn't have a lot of work to do. So I'm just kind of mostly smoothing her edges out. Corner to center. And as soon as you're done with that hand, you'll take your client's hand and you'll place it in the water. This is water and a little bit of soap. And then you'll go ahead and do the other side. Again, just corner to center, no seesawing. And you don't want to just go in one direction all the way around, because that's not how the nails grow. They grow out towards the middle. We do have coarser nails too. If you're giving a manicure on somebody who has acrylic nails, then you can use the coarser files, and you can seesaw on nails that aren't natural nails, because if you did this corner to center, you'd be doing it all day. But on a natural nail, always go corner to center. I'm going to go ahead and, I got a towel on my lap. I'm going to take this hand out. Just dry her fingers, and while I'm doing that, I'm going to switch this around. I don't have a very big table. So we'll let that hand soak while I work on cuticles. So cuticles are, it's the dead skin that's around the nail. So people don't have very much, and I can tell she doesn't have very much. So I don't have a lot of work to do here, but I'm still going to treat her cuticles. Remove the towel. First thing I'm going to do is apply cuticle cream or cuticle remover. And when you do this, I've got a convenient bottle that you can just squeeze it out. And what you don't want to do is touch this bottle to the nail, because then that contaminates it. So you just want to squeeze it out so you don't touch. And then I just kind of rub that in a little bit. Got your towel on your lap, you can wipe your hands. And then you take a cuticle pusher. It has this rounded end. We have some other ones too that some of you may have. I didn't grab one of those, but you want to make sure that the rounded part is upwards and the flat side is down. And you just want to gently push those cuticles. You don't want to use a lot of pressure, because you can get what are called micro traumas on the nails, which are tiny cuts. If you need to wipe it all, you can use your towel for that. When I dry your other hand, I'm going to get a new towel, because I don't want to use the towel that I just wiped things on, because that's not very sanitary. The next thing you do is, in a second we're going to cut the cuticles, but first I want to clean under the free edge. So I'm going to borrow a little bit of water from in here. I'm just going to take a Q-tip under her nails. She really doesn't have a lot of free edge, so this is pretty easy. At state board, when you're working on a client, you can do it this way, but at state board, you actually have to flip it between each nail. So you would do a nail. I already used the other side, so I'll throw that one away. And you'll have trash there. Then you'll dip it. You'll do a nail. Turn it over, dip it. Clean under nail, and then throw that one away and get a new one. So at state board, you just have to do one hand, and you actually will use 2.5 of these. Okay, and then the next step will be cutting the cuticles. And you've got this little lever here. You want to make sure you push that in, and that just helps with the tension. You want to hold it with some control, have a finger over the top of it. And a lot of mistakes people make with these is they go in like this with the pointy edge. You don't want to do that. You want to keep it nice and flat. And you can see she's got a tiny bit of skin. You just go in. She really doesn't have much to cut. If you have a client who doesn't have much to cut, just kind of go around with it, but you don't have to cut much. I just got little tiny pieces on there. Another mistake people make is they'll go in and pull up. You don't want to do that. That creates hangnails, so you just want to keep them nice and flat all the way around the nail. Other people you'll have a ton of cuticle. So it just depends on the client. This finger I actually might get a little bit. Yep, I got a little bit right here. It used to be at state board that you had to take a real model. We don't do that anymore. She has hangnails. I'm going to cut that off. You used to have to take a real model, and you had to cut all 10 cuticles and lay them in one piece on the table. So we don't do it that way anymore because not everybody has it, and you can actually cause damage. I have to work on that one later. She's got a little bit of a hangnail. I gotta see it a little closer to get it real well. And one more. Then we are going to buff the nails. We've got this little buffer here. We just, the nails grow out this way, so you don't want to necessarily go in all directions. I just go out like this. It adds a shine to the nail and removes any little layers. These are disposable, so after you use it, you throw them away. That's why we have these small little ones. They're not very expensive. And then the last step is to apply cuticle oil. And we have droppers we use for state board. This, I gotta be careful not to touch her nails. Just gonna try to let it drop on there without touching the brush to her fingers. It's a little more complicated that way, but there we go, finally. And this just helps condition the nails. Or the skin around the nails, I should say, not the nails themselves. And you take your hands, just kind of massage it in. And then you'd repeat all of this on the other side, which I'm not going to do on video. I'll do that for her later, but I don't want you to have to watch the whole thing repeat on the other side. Okay, so go ahead and take that out of the water. Once you have both sides done, you can do a massage. I'm getting a new towel because we use this for my lap. Okay, so what I'm going to do is do one arm at a time. I'm going to drape her arm. Just lift your arm up. Just going to tuck it in up here And that just helps from getting creams all over the place, makes your arm more comfortable. Then I'm going to get a little bit of massage cream. Back of my hand. I should not have double dipped that. That was a no-no. Emulsify it. And you want to apply that to the arm and the hand. A lot of salons don't do this step, but if you do it in your salon, it just makes, this is the client's favorite part, so it makes them want to come back. Okay, and then I'm just going to start working. I'm going to take circular movements down each finger. And this should be very relaxing. You can go ahead and rest your elbows, be comfortable. State board, you have to do a hand massage, but you do not have to do the arm massage, but I'll show you how to do that. You want to rotate along the top of the hand. Not too much pressure because you can kind of feel the bones a little bit, and if you do that roughly, that's not comfortable. And then you want to also do, just circular motion along the palm of her hand. And then I'm just going to come out to each finger again and squeeze. You can also do a movement where you just kind of move the wrist back and forth to relax it. But if you have an older client, you might not want to do this one, just because a lot of people have arthritis in that area. And then I'm going to do some circles up the arm. And slide back down. Repeat each movement 3 times. And turn your arm over and do the other side. Just circular movements. Another movement is take your thumbs back and forth. Slide down. Repeat 3 times. And then also the other side. And then I'm just kind of going to do a ringing movement. Kind of like an Indian burn type thing, but when you do it with lotion, it feels good. Just going to squeeze out through our fingers to end the massage. All right, at this point, I'm going to get a warm towel, and that will help me to remove the cream, and it will feel good. So we're just going to pause this for a second. Okay, I have a hot towel I'm just going to use to remove excess cream. You can use lotion for this too. I use massage cream, but lotion is fine. The thing that's different with lotion is sometimes it just soaks into the skin more. You might have to reapply. And you'd repeat on the other hand, which I'm not going to do right now. Once both the hands have been massaged, you don't want any oil left on the fingers. So one thing you should do is cleanse the nails. So just dip your hand in there and then pull up. And then just downward strokes, you cleanse each finger. That gets rid of the cuticle oil and any massage cream that's still on there. And do the same with the other hand. Go ahead and dip them first. That looks better. We're going to dry them. And then one additional thing I like to do is use cuticle remover to make sure there's no oil left on the nails, because the final step is going to be polishing. So we're just going to swipe it over each nail. Get a new cotton round when you dip back in there. That was a no-no. polish available. I like to check at this point if I see any little pieces that are jagged. I'll take this fine side of my emery board and get those off. They look pretty good though. Again, corner to center if you do this part. Okay. Alright, so first thing is base coat. And what I'm using is called First and Last. You can use it as base coat and top coat. But what base coat does is it helps the polish to stick to the nails, and it also keeps the polish from staining the nails. And as few strokes as possible. They used to say you had to do only 3 strokes, 1 in the middle, 1 on each side, but that's not always easy. But the more strokes you do, doesn't really matter with base and top coat, but with a regular polish, the more strokes you do, the more it causes like streaking and causes you to kind of mess up that nail polish. Again, I'm holding each finger. Some places will require, like I know Jonathan Coy does, that you actually hold your polish in your hand while you're doing this, which works too. It just takes a little getting used to. And then the polish itself, I'm not going to be able to open. Cameraman. Okay, so nail polish, typically you want to do, a couple coats. But you can see after the first coat if it looks like you need to do a second. I'll try the hand thing on this one. You're holding it in the palm of your hand. As few swipes as possible. If you do get some on the skin, which I did, and at skateboard you'll have to use red, unfortunately. It shows everything, but they want to see that you know what you're doing. You can take a Q-tip and just wipe it off. What you don't want to do, and if you need a little polish remover, that's fine too. I'm just going to use my cotton round to keep it from flying up with my Q-tip underneath. What you don't want to do is use your fingernail like this, because that's unsanitary. But I see a lot of people do it. And a lot of people wonder why nail polish is sanitary from person to person. It does not harbor bacteria, doesn't have a lot of water in it. So they consider it to be kind of like self-sanitizing. So we are allowed to use nail polish from person to person. You can dip your brush back in, unlike everything else we do where we can only dip one time. That is considered sanitary. When I got my massage cream out, I had to use the spatula one time. If I had to dip it back in, I'd have to get a different spatula. Same thing with the other hand, and then the final coat is going to be top coat. I'll go up and clean that up in a bit. I don't want to waste your time. And there's really no secret to top coat. It's the same thing. You just apply as few strokes as possible. And you only need 1 coat. So it's 1 coat base coat, 2 coats polish, and 1 top coat. Alright. 1 more Q-tip. tip. Okay, I'm not going to waste your time showing top coat. It's the same as you applied the base coat. Make sure you clean up any polish first. And then when it's all finished, you can put hand lotion on, but the nails are wet. So I would recommend giving that hand and arm massage, and they already have lotion on there. You don't have to put lotion on at the end. And that completes the manicure.